thank you for joining me. I am Kate Bedford. So yeah, you'll see my introduction video, you'll have seen my big long video where I go through everything and talk about everything and explain everything to you. So, a few exciting things that I am allowed to speak about because I've been given the go-ahead from the people that I've been working with. There is going to be a Ross Kemp documentary later on this summer called Ross Kemp Living With. I, along with 4 other women that go to the Bridge Project, the same as I do in Bradford, will be featured on that programme. Now, I probably might only have a minute segment in that or 30 seconds, but I am going to be featured in that. I have previously been featured on the BBC 3 page. I will link that below. I've been featured in the Guardian newspaper, and I was also featured on the BBC News at 6. So for me, when I thought I was going to come out of addiction and not get a lot from it, I've been able to reach out to a lot of people. Today, I've just got back from a meeting with the BBC. We did a podcast with another lady called Michelle, who is a warrior, who, quite similar to myself, has been through painkiller addiction and withdrawal, and it's getting spoke about, it's getting the word out there, and that's all we want to do. We just want to get people to understand this whole addiction. So in this video, what I wanted to talk about is breaking the stereotype of an addict. Now, I say breaking the stereotype because when I was doing the podcast with the lovely gentleman from the BBC, I got thinking about something. Now, it was mentioned that if you rang your doctors and you said to them, I'm suffering from a heroin addiction or I'm an alcoholic, they would pretty quickly give you some help or guidance, tell you where to go, give you things and resources that you need. Now, for my personal experience, as I have mentioned in my video, I rang my doctor and I asked for help and they couldn't give me anything. Now, that is something that myself, along with a few other people at the Bridge Project, are trying to sort, so that up and down the country there may be hubs or support groups that people can go to, or a helpline that somebody can ring. It might be myself who answers the phone and you can just say, I'm struggling, I think I'm addicted to painkillers, and there's going to be somebody there for you. It's not imminent, it's not happening now, but it is something that's down the pipeline. So when I was speaking to these gentlemen from the BBC, they basically said the term addict gets thrown around a lot, but it never gets associated with painkillers. Now, a point that I made, and I feel very, very strongly about, hand on heart, I really, really do, is that if you are addicted to marijuana, heroin, ket, cocaine, speed, any of that sort of stuff, you can relapse. You can be clean for weeks, months, years, and down the line you can relapse. What people don't understand is that painkiller addicts can relapse, but because it's not mainstream, it's not an addiction that's paraded on your TV, and it's not an addiction where there's helplines for it and there's billboards about it and there's programs about it. People don't necessarily see painkiller addiction as a serious addiction, which really, really annoys me, and it really breaks my heart because it's huge. In Bradford, where I am from, there is 6,000 people suffering from alcohol dependency. There are 3,000 roughly heroin addicts. There are over 10,000 painkiller addicts, and yet there's one place where they can go. 10,000 people in Bradford alone, and Bradford's not a very big place, do you know what I mean? But 10,000 people in Bradford, and probably 70 people, including myself, have come forward and said, I need help. The first thing about being an addict is you've got to admit it to yourself. Nobody can tell you you are an addict. Nobody can turn around and go, you need to get help, you've got a problem, you need to sort yourself out. You have got to admit it, and it takes a lot to admit it. One of the comments that I got earlier, which I found quite funny, was, you don't look like an addict. No, I don't look like an addict. I don't like I was dependent on these painkillers for 10 years of my life, and they ruined me and made me make so many bad decisions. But I am an addict, and yes, I hold my hands up, and I understand that the responsibility was mine and I chose to take them tablets, but there's also a responsibility with our healthcare service, and people are quick to turn around and say, well, you chose to put them in your mouth and you chose to open that packet of painkillers. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. But nobody monitored my prescriptions, and nobody told me I had a problem, and nobody said, you're taking a lot of painkillers, is there anything we can do to help? Is there an alternative we can give to you? And that's the thing that's really, really difficult. Public Health England did basically a report on opioid addiction, but nothing's been done with it. People have spoke about opioid addiction, but nothing's been done about it. So if it takes me and a few people from the Bridge Project in Bradford to do something about it, then I'm pretty sure we'll get somewhere somehow. In 6 months, as I've said, been featured on BBC twice, been in Guardian newspaper, I'm going to be on Ross Kemp, and I've done a podcast with the BBC. So it's something that's moving really, really quickly. It's something that's happening fast, and it's something that's getting recognised. But for me, I need to get that word out there. I need to break that stereotype of an addict. You're not just... It's not a person that you see that doesn't work and that is lazy and can't be bothered and that voluntarily did it themselves. I didn't go out seeking this addiction. I didn't ask to be an addict. I apologise if you can hear the rain. It's very, very bad weather. It's Storm Sierra at the moment. There's a lot of ignorance towards medicinal addictions. You can be addicted to opiates, you can be addicted to diazepam, you can be addicted to pretty much any drug out there, and that's quite common and people know about it, but people don't realise the extent that people will go to get these painkillers. I used to pharmacy surf, as they call it. So not only would I have my prescription from the doctors, I would try and up my dose or add to that by going to different pharmacies, getting Salpadol, getting Nurofen Plus, getting over-the-counter codeine, but you had to go to different pharmacies so they didn't catch on, basically. And I am ashamed of it, and the thing is, I've come to terms with it and I've accepted it. So if people want to give me hate for that, that's fine. I fully understand. I'm fully aware that some people don't understand it and they are ignorant to it. I'm ignorant to politics. I don't get it. You know, I'm not very political, but I think something like this needs to be shouted and screamed from the rooftops that there are people out there that work 40+ hours a week, that have kids, that run businesses, that drive cars, and they do all this stuff, that are addicts to painkillers. A lot of people are in denial about being an addict to painkillers because they think, well, my doctor gave me it so it's fine. But what you don't realise is that your tolerance builds really, really quickly. You can get addicted within a matter of days. For me, I was addicted the first time I had morphine. That was it. Like that, hooked, needed it, wanted the high, chased it from being 16-year-old to being 26. And to turn around and say that I'm a 27-year-old woman that's had a 10-year addiction and I've been clean for 15 months now, that's amazing. And it's very upsetting at the same time. Like, it's really sad to think that I'm 27 and I've had a 10-year addiction, but I'm so proud of myself that I've got out of it. And we need to stop thinking that people that are addicts are lazy and they don't work and that they're scroungers and we take from the system and we get all these prescriptions for nothing, and that we did it ourselves and we went out and like seeked it. And yeah, you can be an addict to a recreational drug, I get that, but nowadays there's kids and young people going to parties and crushing up like Valium and Xanax and snorting it because it gives them a high and it gives them that buzz, that feeling. People aren't buying, like when I used to go out when I was younger, people used to go out and buy cocaine. Okay, people used to go out, buy a bag of cocaine, have a good night, whatever floated the boat. Nowadays, kids are taking like lean, which is like soluble codeine, and putting it in drinks, and taking Xanax and getting pain patches just for a buzz. And it's like, do you not realise what it's doing to your insides? Do you not realise what it's doing to your mind? Like, painkillers messed up my mind for a long time. I used to look like this, and now like this. But I used to not care. I used to not care if anybody knew anything about me, if I were an addict or not. But the thing is, I hid it really, really, really well. Like, really well. And people didn't know. And you can look at somebody and clearly know if they are an addict, unfortunately. And you can know somebody for 5, 10, 15, 20 years and not have a clue. We need to break this stereotyping people of that if you're an addict, you're a bad person. I'm not a bad person. I've made stupid like decisions while I was on the tablets, don't get me wrong, but I'm not a bad person. We need to break this whole, like, don't judge a book by its cover. You can look at this video and go, oh my god, she's an addict, she's this, that and other. You don't know what I've been through. You can't judge me on that. You weren't the person who was prescribed the drugs by a medical professional and put your trust and faith in them and was let down by the system. It's not all their fault, it is my fault, but I think a lot of the fault lies with the manufacturers as well. So yeah, I've got a lot to talk about. I've got a lot of experience. I've got a lot of pet peeves as well that people associate with addicts, and it's just me in my bedroom being honest and trying to put something good out there from a really hard, difficult, bad situation. And I hope you can support me, and I hope you're with me 100%, and I hope you understand, and I hope that if there's anybody out there that you know that may have an addiction, or you think may be going down that road of addiction, that just tell them to come to my channel, tell them to watch my videos, tell them to just, even if they don't watch the full thing, just like watch 5 minutes of it and see if I can help you. Ask me questions. They don't even need to necessarily give me the name. You can message me and say, I know somebody, blah 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 blah, and I'll help you. If you want me to private message you, I will private message you. I've got no qualms in helping people. I'm here to help, and that's what people need to realise. There is help. There is somebody who is willing to help you. And I might be 200 miles away from you, but I'm still here and I'm helping, and I want to try break the stereotype of an addict. I did it. I myself went from nearly 30 tablets a day to none, and I'm hoping I can help other people. Please make sure to like and subscribe and let others know that I'm here, and if they want to ask me anything, I'm gonna answer everything that they need answering, and I will see you very, very soon.